Within 5 minutes, we will begin the Korea-Serbia International Forum on ICT for Education Development. For distinguished speakers and guests joining from the venue, please turn off or put your mobile phones into silent mode. For those of you joining through the Zoom, please turn your web camera on and mute your audio. Also, open the YouTube channel with other devices. This forum will be broadcast online in compliance with COVID-19 quarantine regulation. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to the Korea-Serbia International Forum on ICT for Education Development, which is hosted by Ministry of Education of Korea and the Ministry of Education, Science, Technological Development of Serbia. We are pleased to see you all attending this year's forum. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jinju Lee. I am a program specialist at the Institute of APEC Collaborative Education. I'm given the honor of being your MC for today's forum. Thank you. The world facing the fourth industrial revolution and the global pandemic brought us the impact on educational side. Especially due to the COVID-19, in-person classes were suspended and the learning opportunities that students deserve were taken away. Accordingly, Korea is making every effort to ensure sufficient learning opportunities for the students. In order to contribute to achieving the UN Sustainable Development Goals number 4, which is ensuring inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all, the Ministry of Education of Korea has been implementing the innovative ICT-integrated pilot classroom project from 2011, which aims to improve the educational environment of partner countries and strengthening the capabilities of ICT utilization on education through the establishment of innovative classes and support of training program. Through this project, the Korean Ministry of Education built a partnership with the Ministry of Education, Science, Technological Development of Serbia. As a result, on 2021, the innovative ICT Classroom was built in Philological High School and the Despot Stefan Primary School in Serbia. On session 1, we will get to know the ICT education informatization policy in both countries. And on session 2, the best cases of ICT integrated classroom will be presented by other partner countries. On session 3, we will have the introduction of the teacher community and the activities of both Korea and Serbia. On the very last session, we will have a panel discussion of exchanging the opinions on educational cooperation between two countries. We'd like to ask your active participation until the very end. Today's forum will be held under the theme of sharing ICT-integrated education, informatization policies, and we will discuss the educational cooperation plans to prepare for the post-COVID-19 era. This event will be held both online and offline in compliance with COVID-19 quarantine measures. It will be live streamed online and YouTube channel for both English and Korean. Again, I extend my appreciation for all the participants joining Korea-Serbia International Forum on Education Development, live on Zoom and YouTube, including those overseas with interest of our project. And for your information, our forum is being held under the COVID-19 prevention measure. All staff and participants at the venue have checked their temperatures before they entering. Also, we installed sneeze guard between participants and the presenters. Before we begin the forum, I would like to introduce the VIPs who are with us. They are also connected on the Zoom program. We would like to first introduce the participants in the venue. From Korean Ministry of Education, we have Mr. Ko Young-hoon. He is a director of e-learning division of Lifelong and Vocational Education Bureau. And we have Ms. Tae Yoo-jin. She's a deputy director of e-learning division of Lifelong and Vocational Education Bureau. And we have Mr. Seo Sun-sik. He is a professor of computer education from Chuncheon National University of Education, Korea. And we have Mr. Cha Jung-chan. He's an executive director of Institute of APEC Collaborative Education. Thank you. And we also have special guests joining from the Zoom. Once your name is called, please wave your hands. From Ministry of Education, Science, Technological Development of Serbia, we have Ms. Daniela Stefanovic. She is an advisor from Sector for Digital Education and Science. And we have other participants from Sector for International Cooperation and EU Integration, and Secondary and Adult Education, and Preschool and Primary Education. And also we have special guests from Ministry of Education, Science, and Technology of Nepal. We have Dr. Baburam Dungana. He is a Director of Technical and Vocational Education Division. And from Ministry of Education, Bangladesh, we have Mr. Muhammad Abu Hossain Kayas. He is a Researcher Officer of Directorate of Secondary and Higher Education. And from Ministry of Education, Youth and Sports from Cambodia, we have Ms. Sang Sineth. She's a Deputy Director of the Department of Information Technology. Also from Philological High School, Serbia, we have Ms. Dragana. She is the principal of the school. And we have other wonderful teachers from Philological High School. From Despot Stefan Lazarevic in Serbia, we have Ms. Zorika. She is the principal of the school. And we have Mr. Zlako. He is a teacher of the Despot Primary School. And for the very last, we have from Sejong Office of Education. We have Mr. Chong Woo-young. He's a teacher from Tajong Elementary School and also the president of the Lead Sejong. And also we have other teachers from Lead Sejong. Thank you. Next, we'll begin the forum with opening remarks. To kick off the forum, we have an honorable guest, Mr. Ko Young-hoon. He is a Director of E-Learning Division of Lifelong and Vocational Education Bureau from Ministry of Education of Korea. He is here with us to give his opening remarks, and he will be coming up to the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Ko Young-hoon.
Greetings to our distinguished guests from both home and abroad. My name is Ko Young-hoon. The last name is Ko, the Director of the E-Learning Division of Lifelong and Vocational Education Bureau of the Ministry of Education of Korea. I would like to congratulate the hosting of the Korea-Serbia International Forum on Education Development, an event held together with education experts from partner countries, along with welcoming all participants. In particular, in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, I would like to express my gratitude to the Serbian Ministry of Education, Science and Technological Development, the official of the Sejong Metropolitan Office of Education, and Sejong lead teachers for supporting the ICT Classroom establishment and training program. I would also like to express my deepest gratitude to the officials of the Ministry of Education of Bangladesh and the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology of Nepal, who continue to share and spread the best cases of the ICT classrooms based on their extraordinary passion, even during difficult circumstances. I would also like sincerely thank the officials of Despot Stefan Lazarevic Primary School and Philological High School in Serbia for their active participation and cooperation throughout the entire project, and to the Institute of APEC Collaborative Education for their efforts in hosting this forum. The world faces a situation where we have to overcome the changes triggered by the fourth industrial industrial revolution, as well as the crisis formed by the COVID-19 crisis simultaneously. To rise above these changes and crises, global solidarity and cooperation are needed more than ever. Amidst this important period, the Korea-Serbia International Forum on Education Development will serve as a meaningful opportunity to share educational informatization policies between the two countries and discuss future educational cooperation plans based on best cases for using advanced classrooms for various partner countries. I hope you will share various knowledge and experience of education experts and seek ways to continue cooperation between the two countries and exchange partners. Above all, I hope that Korea, Serbia, and ICT Classroom partner countries can all overcome the COVID-19 crisis and return to our daily lives at school, achieving great transformation in future education for nurturing innovative talents. Last but not least, the Korea Ministry of Education will continue to pay attention and serve as a partner country in preparing for future education based on the innovative ICT-integrated pilot classroom project. I would like to wish for a successful hosting of this forum and once again express our sincere gratitude to everyone who has contributed to the entire process of the innovative ICT-integrated pilot classroom project. Thank you.
Then there will be a welcoming remarks from very special guests from Serbia. Ms. Daniela Stefanovic, she is an advisor for digital education and science from Ministry of Education, Science, Technological Development of Serbia. Ladies and gentlemen, let me invite Ms. Daniela Stefanovic for her welcoming remarks. Ms. Daniela, can you hear me?
Thank you.
Thank you. Please give warm welcome to Ms. Daniela.
Hello, dear distinguished guests from Korea, Serbia, and abroad. It is my great pleasure to welcome you on behalf of the Ministry of Education, Science and Technological Development of Serbia to the online forum. I hope that you can hear English and Korean as well, and that sound of two different languages do not overlap. So the cooperation between Korea and Serbia has intensified since 2017. And I would like to thank Ministry of Education of Republic Korea, especially Director General Yong Byung-in and Director Ko Yang-hoon. For successful cooperation and contribution. Even if we are far away geographically, we have close interest in education and particularly educational technology. Also, I would like to stress some of the key strategic developments in Serbia in regards to education technology. We need to wait for translation because those who listen in English, they don't hear English. We hear only Korean and we don't understand, unfortunately, Korean. So I will keep it shortly. Yesterday, we had a great celebration in Serbia. We opened, thanks to our cooperation, we opened 2 classrooms. And this is big success. This is big success because we are in crisis, not only one, but several crises. And it's really worth to take time and celebrate something. So finally, I would like to thank once again everybody for this cooperation. And also, if we make some mistakes, that's normal, that's human, and we are all in education. And firstly, to educate ourselves how to be better for anything that we do.
Advisor Ms. Daniela, thank you so much for your warm welcoming remarks. Mr. Ko Young-won and Ms. Daniela, I believe your speech began, Mr. Ko Young-won and Daniela. We will start session 1 with the theme of current status and plans for ICT education informatization in both countries under COVID-19. If you have any questions regarding the session, please scan the QR code and upload your question. Please do not forget to mention the speaker's name and the session. On session 1, we will have 2 speakers from Korea and Serbia. Start with Ms. Tae Yoo-jin, who is a Deputy Director of E-Learning Division of Lifelong and Vocational Education Bureau of Ministry of Education of Korea. She is here to talk about the current status of education informatization policy to respond to COVID and post-COVID in Korea. Please welcome Ms. Tae Yoo-jin.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Yoo-jin Jae, the Deputy Director of the Korean Ministry of Education. I'm in charge of the e-learning globalization project, including the innovative ICT-integrated pilot classroom project. It is my honor to be able to share the case of education response to COVID-19 in the Republic of Korea at this forum. Now it's work, I'm sorry. I'm going to present 3 main topics today: current status of COVID-19 in Korea and its impact on education, education response to COVID-19, lastly, future education after COVID-19. First, let me tell you about the current situation of COVID in Korea. As of January 10, 2022, the cumulative number of confirmed cases is over 600,000, and the death toll is over 6,000. Although there have been several times of high risk of the spread of COVID-19, we have been continuously managing through systematic and preemptive quarantine and social distancing. For the past 2 years, the educational field has faced a series of constant challenges and tensions. It was difficult to start school due to the COVID, so the start of school was postponed 4 times from March to early April. In order to respond more proactively to the prolonged COVID situation and to fill the learning gap of students, online school opening was held. The direction of the education response to COVID-19 can be summarized and explained in the following 4 ways. First, academic management. With the belief that the students should continue to study and learn while ensuring their health and safety as a top priority, we made a bold attempt. Second, disease control at school. In response to the infectious disease situation, the most important thing was to ensure the health and safety of students. Third, childcare and budget support. Various support measures were implemented to alleviate the difficulties of the people. Fourth, response system and on-site communication. The COVID pandemic was a crisis that not only Korea, but all countries experienced for the first time. In this situation, omnidirectional collaboration between related organizations was essential. Among the 4 response directions, I will first explain the aspects of academic management in detail. A flexible academic management plan was prepared and applied to the field. First, the opening of all schools was postponed from March 2nd to April 9th, and we decided all online school opening and implemented it step by step. Online school opening started in 3 stages considering of the school and grade level. And we have made it possible to have a period of preparation and adjustment in the educational field. Before the online school opening, there was no public learning management system in which about 5 million elementary, middle, and high school students nationwide could participate. In response, the Ministry of Education expanded the e-learning center and EBS online class system before the start of online school, and established a system that can be used by 3 million people each day at the same time. In addition, the Ministry of Education expanded EBS TV's existing channels and created TV channels for each grade. At the same time, efforts were made to secure content to support teachers' smooth online classes. As public content, 5,500 kinds of e-learning sites, 43,000 kinds of EBS, 137 kinds of digital textbooks were provided. Last year, about 34 billion won was invested in developing and distributing 17,000 additional subject contents for each school level. In addition, in cooperation with the private sector, Naver has uploaded private content for free, such as audio textbook. Furthermore, in collaboration with the Ministry of Culture, Sports, and Tourism, the copyright requirements were temporarily alleviated to create an environment where teachers can create and utilize learning content on their own. Also, the Ministry of Education has prepared a standard for online class operation. Depending on the school student and conditions, real-time interactive classes, content-oriented classes, and task-oriented classes were operated. However, to prevent a learning deficit, the learning content was provided focused on the core concepts of the subject. For responding to COVID, a school quarantine model centered on returning to school was derived. Currently, there are difficulties such as strengthening the Omicron due to the spread of Omicron, but we are preparing the best alternatives based on the policy of allowing students to go to school and study. When online classes are unavoidable, we are preparing ways so that technical difficulties do not occur. To prepare for the opening of kindergartens, elementary, middle, and high schools across the country, we prepared guidelines for the prevention and management of COVID infection and distributed them across the country. This guideline includes the basic direction for COVID quarantine, preparations and actions before and after school starts, etc. In addition, in the field of higher education, we have prepared guidelines for academic operation in response to COVID. Furthermore, to strengthen quarantine in areas near the university, we established a cooperative system between the Ministry of Education, universities, and local governments, and continued monitoring of confirmed cases of students and faculty. We also requested that we refrain from group activities within the university and strictly control the access of outsiders. At the same time, the Ministry of Education quickly identified the current status of supplies needed for school quarantine and secured them through budget execution. Masks were secured according to the priorities such as urgent care, international students, new school year for students. Also, we prompted the installation of thermal imaging cameras to prevent close contact with students when they take their body temperature at school. As the demand for care arose due to the postponement of the start of school, we operate urgent care. In addition, in order to reduce the burden of parental care, we have implemented the Children's Special Care Support Project for preschoolers and elementary school students, and non-face-to-face learning support project for middle school students. Also, we have implemented additional cuts in student loan interest rates for college students. The Ministry of Education provided free rental of smart devices and internet communication expenses to ensure that no students are left behind. Through active cooperation with private and public companies, we provided smart devices to approximately 280,000 students for multiple child families, students raised by grandparents or single parent, and multicultural families. Also, in cooperation with the Ministry of Science and ICT and 3 telecommunication companies, we have made it possible to temporarily access major educational sites such as EBS without additional communication costs. Customized learning was provided for students who might have difficulties in distance learning. For the lower grades of elementary school, we supported EBS TV viewing and home study packages instead of online access. For multicultural students, we supported Korean language education through multicultural language instructors. For special needs students, we provide one-to-one visit training and learning packages. The process of educational response to COVID-19 was a process of cooperation and communication with stakeholders in all fields. In particular, the Ministry of Education and 17 city and provincial offices of education operate call centers to provide prompt feedback on complaints. After the online school started, we operate the online school opening general monitoring room and established a system to support smooth online. In addition, the Ministry of Education established a 10,000 community together with the city and provincial offices of education to secure communication channels. We communicated with the school site in real time, quickly resolved difficulties in the field, and played a role in sharing best practices. Also, we continuously communicated with students, parents, and teachers through field visits, online seminars, and conferences. In addition, with the Ministry of Education as the center, each educational institution has established a permanent consultative body to quickly create a response plan according to the COVID situation. In the process of continuing the various challenges in the education field through the spread of COVID, there was an opportunity to explore the possibilities of new changes along with the essential concerns about what are the roles of schools and teachers in Korean education and how to grow education in the future. I would like to share the results of these concerns and explorations lastly. First, continuous learning and growth should be possible in any crisis. Second, it is necessary to ensure a comprehensive universal education so that no student is left behind or left alone in this process. Third, we must actively accept and preemptively respond to rapid changes in the future environment. Fourth, the power to create real change in innovation lies in the field, and the government must trust the field. Fifth, and most importantly, the safety, health, and happiness of our children must be our top priority in the premise of all these directions. Based on the core principles for future education, our education is now facing a time of paradigm shift towards future education by using the COVID crisis as a stepping stone for a leap forward. Based on the hopes and possibilities that have bloomed in our education in the process of responding to COVID, I expect that we will be able to take one more step into the future of new education. This concludes my presentation. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for your insightful presentation. Our next speaker, Ms. Daniela Stefanovic, who is an advisor from Ministry of Education, Science and Technological Development of Serbia. She is joining this forum online and will deliver the current status of education informatization policy to respond to COVID and post-COVID in Serbia. Ms. Daniela, are you with us?
Yes, would you? Sorry.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Daniela.
Hello again. I will talk about digital education in the Republic of Serbia and what we did before COVID crisis, a little bit about COVID crisis and what is our future outlook. I am education policy analyst and education technologist, and I have been studying digital education and distance education for more than 20 years. So this is my area of expertise. So first to share with you that actually we started with deep thinking about digital education in 2013, when we first developed our guidelines for advancing the integration of information and communication technologies in education. This document was prepared by National Education Council, and the reason was that the old strategy didn't cover the ICT issues very much. So this document was meant as a soft policy instrument to compensate something that was missing from the big strategy, because digital education was not mainstream at that point. Also, we took a comprehensive approach to ICT education policy, and this document has 109 pages. It was produced through the consultative process and has 71 recommendations. Back to 2013, and we can assess now the impact of this soft policy instrument was really high because many of the recommendations were adopted, but there are still things that needs to be done. Already in 2014, Serbia was very lucky to be accepted to the working group of the European Commission within the framework of open method of cooperation, because Serbia is a developing country, a small country, and very happy to be part of a bigger European region. And there are not enough experts in digital education and education policy. As I understand and know, only 2 experts in Serbia exist that are experts in digital education and education policy. So therefore, we were really looking forward to be a part of bigger family that can bring expertise, that can share experience, and that can, in short time, assure that we learn quickly a lot. So what European Commission did after the COVID crisis, they did one comprehensive consultation process that was really something that is unique for the whole European region, and also is also true for Serbia. And what I like about this report is that it was honest. That means that we honestly approach and say what is the problem, and then this is the first start when you want to solve some problem, to honestly say, okay, this is a problem and we should work on it. So what was the finding? That large number of teachers and students for the first time had the opportunity to get involved in online teaching due to COVID crisis. So now we know that digital education was not developed at the highest level at that point. And education institutions that had previously invested in their digital capacities, they were better prepared to respond to this COVID crisis. And we also know that throughout Europe, but also in Serbia, there are institutions that are more digitally matured, and that though there are institutions that are less digitally mature. But something that struck all European countries and also Serbia, that these socioeconomic inequalities were even more deepened within the COVID crisis. So because a lot of learning happened at home, and the support from home and socioeconomic status of parents was really something that affected the learning of pupils. So the conclusion was that there were many initiatives and investments in PAS, but despite progress and excellent examples, these are often short-lived and they are not scaled up. So at the moment, still, potential digitalization in education is not widely visible and deeply understood. So there are some steps towards understanding, but not yet visible and deeply understood. So we are now working on this, let's say, bright future of ensuring that all educators have should be skilled to use digital technologies effectively. The key word here is effectively. In Serbia, the situation is regarding the infrastructure is rather well. So 74.3 households have computer and 94% have mobile phones. And also high percentage of households have internet access. But for those who do not have internet access, when they were asked why, they said it was because they didn't need. So this means that everybody that need could reach this level of connectivity and also to buy equipment. What is more, it takes more time to develop is digital competencies of teachers. So the OECD Teaching and Learning International Survey showed that only 39 educators in the EU felt well or very well prepared for using digital technologies in their daily work. So this percentage can also be, let's say, common for Serbia or maybe different. We didn't do such a survey in Serbia, but we may assume that really a lot needs to be done in the area of digital competencies of teachers. Also, one research that we conducted last year in Serbia, 40,000 participants were of this research, and then we learned that 98.7% primary school students have access to digital devices for online learning, and 99.1% grammar school students have access to digital devices. So also teachers can borrow digital devices from school and use it for online teaching. But what we stress, pedagogical use of learning management systems should be significantly enhanced in future. So in Serbia, we have three main pillars to implement digitalization: development of human capacity, connectivity, and improvement of ICT infrastructure, and providing and establishing free e-educational services. To mention one really important contribution towards increasing the level of digital competencies of students is the introduction of digital world for the first, as an obligatory subject for the first grade primary pupils. And also it's going to be implemented in second, third, and fourth grade. Actually, it's already for second grade. Now we are under development for third and fourth grade. Also, our students have computer science as obligatory subject, already implemented from 2017 and 18. And this, actually, this stepping stone in education policy emerged from the guidelines that I previously mentioned in 2013. So in 2013, we struggled and discussed that we really need informatics to become obligatory but not electoral subjects. And in 2017, we succeed. You see how long it takes to bring some bright ideas and improvements to practice and to implement this policy. So also in Serbia, in 2017, managed to develop digital competence framework of teachers. And this was presented to all European Union countries at the event as an example of a good policy instrument. But this policy instrument was not mainstreamed. It was also, like digital education is not yet mainstreamed. It's somewhere marginalized, but used by those innovative and active and interested teachers. Also, we revised this digital competence framework because we know that technology changes and we also are learning. So we have another version that was published in 2019. And this year, thanks to our strategy, we plan to revise this document again and talk about it more. And also we prepared, it's going to be launched very soon, self-assessment instrument for teachers to assess their digital competency frameworks. Also to mention SELFI, this is very important instrument of European Commission and all European countries are using it. Serbia was piloting this and also among those countries in Europe that have the highest percentage of the usage of this document and this instrument. And this is self-assessment instrument for planning, using for school development planning, and it's unique for each school, and nobody from the ministry has access to this document. So this is internal, let's say, regarding school autonomy and serves only for development of digital competencies of schools. Thanks to this success of Serbia in the, let's say, European sky, we have given a special program called Selfie Digital School Awards Pilot Program. This was funded by the European Commission to pilot in 5 countries, and after 2 years, we may conclude that this program is really of high quality, is looking deep at the digital education and supports schools how to become digital schools. So far, we have 20 schools participated, but only 9 schools gained the mentor status, which is the biggest status of digital maturity level, but also we will continue, hope to scale up this program throughout the whole system. Also, this program has continued in the framework of Digital School Academy, and this will start to be implemented this year. In order to support region in the area of digital education, RSE, which is Education Reform Initiative of Southeast Europe, has prepared this document. And some of the, let's say, clarifications from this document can help us to understand better online and blended learning. So in traditional classroom, we know that at school, teachers are presenting new learning materials and giving assessments, and students are taking notes, following guided instructions, and at home, they are doing homework. Online teaching and learning means that at school, there is nothing. So there are no activities at school. But at home, students and teachers communicate through learning management system platform. So teachers have recorded and shared lecture there. It could be video, it could be podcast, lessons, tests. Then teachers are facilitating forum discussions, answering questions, creating online learning assignments, and higher order thinking online tasks. What is the most important thing that communication, interaction should happen within the framework of this learning management system, because the core of any educational process is interaction, is communication. Yeah. And if teachers and students are not online and they are not, this is not interactive, then the learning is in danger that the learning will not happen. So also for the blended teaching and learning, which is considered in science as a future of good quality traditional teaching, regardless of COVID, is we have teachers at school facilitating discussions, answering questions, guiding students, so doing these higher order thinking taking tasks in school, but at home, students can watch, listen lectures, do tests on school learning management system platform before coming to class, and preparing questions to ask teachers and peers when they meet in a school in class. So in order to help schools to better organize themselves for online and blended learning, Institute for Quality Evaluation has prepared this framework for organization of online and blended learning, talking about school level, school leaders, teachers, and students. And not to take too much time for this presentation, I hope everybody will receive this presentation so that can go through exactly what is needed at school level in order to organize good quality online and blended learning. As I mentioned for the many times, as a first, most important thing, that schools should have school learning management system platform. In Serbia from 2005, we promoted Moodle as a free, open, and secure learning management system. And then school can complementary use video conferencing tools to support synchronous communication, but when this is scheduled once or twice a week, in combination to the main activities done on the platform. So also there is a role for school leaders to encourage and support the system and to organize all the process, because organizational changes are really needed. And this is how teachers, what teachers should have and possess in order to organize high quality online and blended learning. For example, they should have medium or high level of digital competencies according to the digital competencies framework of teachers. And also a lot of support and communication and clarity should be assured for students. In order to support schools in Serbia, there are many, many initiatives. Of course, I didn't have time to mention many successful initiatives of the ministry during the COVID crisis, and a lot of effort and over extra hour of work. But I would like to point out for the two, let's say, future-looking guidelines, which is one is online and blended learning, and other is guideline for pedagogical use of Moodle learning management system that was recently published. And also this is one final slide, a life-saving slide for us who are involved in digital education, to explain when we need to explain where are we now. So we are now in this emergency remote education. As I said, in Serbia, a lot of effort was invested into video lectures, on television lectures, lot of effort for platform, different kind of commercial platforms, free platforms, different kind of solutions. You know, everybody reached towards what they knew, but what we would like in future really to move to this high quality online education and learning through the professional systems such as learning management systems, and also with the deep knowledge of all these pedagogical concepts and tools such as summer model, such as flipped classroom and other models. We don't have time for these models, but our teachers will I'm sure in future be very well aware of these models that need to be implemented for the pedagogical use of technology. And thank you very much for this, for your attention.
It was a very comprehensive presentation. Thank you, Ms. Daniela. Thank you again for both Ms. Tae Jin and Ms. Daniela. For those of you who are joining online, please scan the QR code to leave your question, and you may also click the link on the YouTube chat box. We will finish session 1 with the title of Current Status and Plans for ICT Education Informatization in Both Countries Under COVID-19. We will have 5 minutes break, and we will start the session on 18 p.m. Thank you. Did you enjoy your break? Thank you again for your participation both online and offline. Hope you're enjoying the forum. And again, for your question, please scan the QR code or leave the question on the chat box. Now I will introduce session 2. Especially in this session, we have very special guests from Nepal and Bangladesh. Nepal and Bangladesh is our partner country of the innovative ICT-integrated pilot classroom project. They will share us the best cases of utilizing the ICT classroom and how this changed the education site in their school, and also how this project affected the teachers and students. The first presentation will be delivered by Dr. Baburam Dungana. He is a Director of Technical and Vocational Education Division of Ministry of Education, Science and Technology of Nepal. He will share us the best case of changes in the educational field through the use of ICT Classroom in Nepal. Again, please leave your questions and do not forget to mention the speaker's name and the session. Dr. Baburam, are you with us?
Yes, I am with you.
Thank you. Please give warm welcome to Dr. Baburam Dungana.
Shall I start?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you so much for giving this opportunity. First of all, I would like to say, Tanasubnida, Sanan Baburam Dungana Ibnida, Sigum Sanan Nepal Kyoguesa, Yagi Hago Isnida. This is Baburam Dungana speaking from Nepal. I have been working in the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology. Dear distinguished guests, delegates, Mr. Young Hoon Ko, Director of E-Learning Division of Lifelong and Vocational Education Bureau, Ministry of Education, Korea. Dani Jela Sopanovic, Advisor, Ministry of Education, Science, Technological Development, Serbia. Eugene J, Deputy Director, E-Learning Division, Lifelong and Vocational Education Bureau, Ministry of Education, Korea. Mr. Mohammad Abdul Hussain Kai, Researcher Officer, Directorate of Secondary and Higher Education, Bangladesh, Ministry of Education, Bangladesh. Mr. Wu Youngjung, teacher in Dejang Elementary School. Mr. Zalko Probo JC, teacher for Information and Computer Science in Serbia. Mr. Natikaji Marjan, the principal of Gyanodaya Secondary School, Kathmandu. Mr. Su Sun Sik, professor in Korea. Mr. Sejong Chan, executive director in IACE. Mr. Lee Sang-jin, director, IACE. First of all, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to you all for making this event meaningful and giving me this opportunity to put my opinion. Special thanks goes to Mr. Sang-jin Lee for inviting me in this program, who is the director of IACE. I also would like to thank Ms. Jinju Lee for her tireless effort to make this forum successful. She is the program specialist, International Capacity Development 2, Institute of APEC Collaboration Education. My presentation is focused on the changes happened in the educational field through the use of ICT Classroom in Nepal that was developed by an ICT integrated pilot classroom project supported by Korea. My major highlights of my presentation will be National ICT Policy in Nepal, School Before ICT Integrated Pilot Classroom Project, School During COVID Pandemic Lockdown, Changes in School after use of ICT Classroom, and some recommendations. Formally, ICT in education was initiated after the promulgation of ICT Master Plan 2013 to 2017 Major goals of master plan were to expand equitable access to education, to enhance the quality of education, to reduce the digital divide, and to improve the service delivery system in Nepal. Like in other countries, the master plan of Nepal also identified the four major components. Those were development of infrastructure, including connectivity, development of human resources, and enhancement of education system. This is Gyanodaya Secondary School, Kathmandu, where an ICT-based pilot classroom project was installed, launched, and this is the headmaster who is presenting here. He is Mr. Natikaji Maharjan. This is one of the biggest school located in the central part of capital city, Kathmandu. More than 5,400 students are regularly studying in this school in these days. How was the school before ICT-integrated classroom pilot project launched? I'm going to tell you a small story. There was a small computer lab in a room. It was operated by a computer teacher. A group of students used it once a week as a practical class of computer subject. There was no power backup at the time of load shedding. All the administrative works were done manually. The day when we were waiting for, there was a good starting in 2017. A memorandum of understanding on building and managing an innovative information and communication technology-based pilot classroom project between the Ministry of the Republic of Korea and the Ministry of Education of the Federal Republic of Nepal was held on 12th September 2017 in Kathmandu. And finally, Ministry of Education, Science and Technology selected one of the best school in Kathmandu, that is Gyanodaya Secondary School, to launch this project. After launching this project, Ministry of Education Korea supported to establish a standard ICT lab with modern equipments and comfortable furnitures. Korean government representatives visited this lab several times. Many teachers of Gyanodaya Secondary School learned the use of computer technology in teaching with internet connectivity. Teachers from Gyanodaya were invited in Korea to learn ICT-based instruction. Regular monitoring was happened by the Ministry of Education Korea as well as Ministry of Education Nepal. I myself has been involving regularly in this work from the beginning. COVID-19 pandemic appeared as a challenge and opportunity to human life since 2020 in Nepal. All the schools remained closed for a long time. Parents were worrying on their children's education. Teachers were in confusion how to continue school education. One day, an email in my inbox appeared asking to join ICT-based offline teacher training during pandemic organized by IACE Korea. In 2020 group, 32 teachers from Gyanodaya School and 10 teachers from surrounding schools joined this training. Teachers enjoyed in learning different ICT-based pedagogies from this training. Among them, 20 teachers were awarded with Ki-Edu package. Similarly, in 2021, another group of teachers from Gyanodaya and surrounding schools joined the same training. All teachers demonstrated their best performances. Government of Nepal also organized an ICT-based teacher training in this lab. Many teachers of Gyanodaya and surrounding schools of Kathmandu learned ICT-based teaching pedagogy in this lab. Many teachers inside school, outside this school, and children are benefited from this lab. This lab has been developed as a theory class of computer subject of all grades. It also has been developed as a practical class of computer subject. It has been used as a learning center for other subjects, including creative activities using computer and internet resources. Students use it as a self-learning center with their gadget. In these days, this lab is being useful for all the teachers of different classes and different subjects. It is also being useful for teaching games, arts, and creative works. School is frequently organizing several competitions among students in ICT activities. Students are awarded for their best performances. Government of Nepal also organizes teacher trainings, orientation classes in IT-based software and curriculum-based training in this lab. This lab is also being useful to learn ICT-based teaching for the teachers from surrounding schools. Parents and siblings also visit ICT lab and get information about improved teaching by applying modern technology. School management also has been benefited from this lab, applying it with different managerial activities such as teachers record keeping, students record keeping, students progress report preparation, school communication, etc. This time I have visited several persons who were involved directly or indirectly in this lab, and some of them responded me in the following ways. One of the parents of Gyanodaya school said me that he admitted his children in this school seeing a well-equipped ICT lab so that he did not have to send their children in a private institution to learn computer. One of the teachers from surrounding government schools said, we learned how to teach using ICT from the teachers of Gyanodaya during vacation. Gyanodaya, the headmaster who is here currently with us, he said all teachers of this school could teach their subjects by using ICT lab. And one of the SMC member of the surrounding schools also responded me He visited Gyanodaya school to observe ICT lab and made an ICT plan in his school. One of the teacher from surrounding schools said, because of the ICT integrated pilot classroom project teacher training organized by IACE, he learned a lot of instructional ways to make teaching and learning effective with the use of ICT skills. Another teacher of this training, the participant of this training said, he participated carefully in the training of the innovative ICT integrated pilot classroom project in 2020 with outstanding result and got KSU package that made me satisfactory. He was so proud to be the part of this training. These are the reflections from the beneficiary community whom I visited them directly. And I have some recommendations after this project. I am involving in this project regularly on behalf of the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology. I have some recommendations on this project from my own experience. There is a need to expand this project to expand ICT-based classroom in Nepal. It is necessary to make this lab larger, making accessible for larger number of children, making it as a resource center or an e-learning center. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Baburam, for your presentation. On presentation 2, we have a speaker from Bangladesh, Mr. Muhammad Abu Hossain Kayas, a research officer of Directorate of Secondary and Higher Education in Ministry of Education of Bangladesh. He will deliver the presentation with best case of changes in the educational field through the use of ICT Classroom perspective to Bangladesh. Mr. Kayas Hossain, are you with us?
Yes, I'm.
Thank you, Mr. Hossain Kayas. The floors are yours.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon. Though time varies in different corner, but online platforms cross the time gap. Welcome to my presentation. Hope everyone is fine in this pandemic situation. Just before starting my presentation, I would like to thanks the organizer for inviting me in this prestigious events. Also would like to thanks to the participants who are connected from various countries. Yes, this is me, Muhammad Abu Hossain Kayas, Research Officer Training, Directorate of Secondary and Higher Education, Bangladesh. Actually, this is the background of my presentation. In 2009, Bangladesh government took initiatives to make the country digital by 2021. National education policy gave emphasis on ICT education. Actually, our Bangladesh government forms an education policy in 2009. And in that education policy, they gave emphasis on ICT education. Bangladesh government also took a lot of initiatives to make teachers comfortable with digital devices. In the next slide, I will discuss with some government initiatives. And government welcome foreigners to establish the digital classes. This one is Bangladesh government initiatives. Actually, already Bangladesh government established Sheikh Russell Digital Lab. Actually, Sheikh Russell is the son of our great leader, father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Actually, this lab is a flagship project of the government of Bangladesh for meeting the demand of digital Bangladesh, aligned with sustainable development goal and for strengthening institutional capacity, ensuring the quality of education by the highest use of ICT. Actually, our government also providing a lot of training, such as teaching quality improvement too. This is one of the training institution, and digital content development projects is also one of the other project. They are conducting the training program. Our government also distributing some ICT equipments in educational institutions. Actually, these are the success history of Bangladesh government in ICT education. We have a lot of success history. But today I will discuss with two success stories. Actually, first one is Shikhak Batayon. Actually, Shikhak Batayon is a Bangla word. If I translate it in English, it will be a teacher portal. Actually, it is an integrated training platform for the teacher. Teacher can upload and download pictures, content, videos they create through the web portal. Already 6 lakh participants already included in this portal. Also, 2 lakh free content are available here. And second one is called Muktapat. It is also a Bangla word. Its English translation is Open Learning Platform. Actually, this one is a platform, unique e-learning platform in Bangla for professional and skill development in multiple sectors. Actually, it makes the learning materials accessible for all and user-friendly. 22 courses are available there. Only 2 lakh participants already included in this platform. Actually, this slide is on comparison of uses of computer and digital tools before 2009 and in 2019. You may know already I mentioned that our government forms an education policy in 2009, and in education policy, the emphasis on ICT education. So just before 2009, number of teachers in ICT education was almost 0. And in 2019, the figure reached at 276,000. It's more than 276,000. And teachers trained in ICT just before 2009, it was only 23,000. And in 2019, it reached 436,000. And trained in digital content development, just before 2009, it was almost 0. And in 2019, it reached 181,000. And I think in 2022, this figure is more than that. These are some of the partners in our ICT journey. Actually, Bangladesh government working for a long time for the Korean partners. Besides these Korean partners, we are also working some other national and UN organizations such as United Nations Development Program, UNESCO, Ministry of Education Malaysia, British Council, and some other national and united organizations. Actually, these are the partnership with Korea. Bangladesh government have a productive multi-year strategic partnership with the Republic of Korea, exploring a wide range of issues related to the use of information and communication technology in education. Actually, Korean International Cooperation Agency is very popular in Bangladesh because they are the largest development partner of Bangladesh. They established Bangladesh Korea ICT Training Center for Education. Actually, this ICT Training Center played a vital role for enhancing the ICT education in Bangladesh. This is the role of the Minister of Education of Korea and Institute of APEC Collaboration Education. Actually, APEC Collaboration of Education Institute of APEC Collaboration Education, they are trying to promoting of digital literacy among the Bangladeshi teachers. They established ICT-integrated classrooms. They are providing training of trainer training and basic training on ICT. They're also providing ICT materials for using in the classrooms. Actually, these are the background for the Korean projects. First one, actually to ensure ICT in teaching learning process, to develop teachers' skill to handle modern tools and techniques, to improve learning environment of the institution, to build up a generation for transforming country as a digital country. These are the background of the project. These are some outcomes of the ICT training. Actually, we have a lot of outcomes of the Korean training program. Nowadays, students are more eager than before. Presentation has become more easier. Bringing frequent variation in the presentation are easily possible for the teachers. Students have become more inquisitive. Students remain more attentive to the class. It helps the students to remain their learning gain through practical demonstration for a longer period. Actually, this classroom has helped both teachers and students to increase their creativity. Tendency of the student to memorize lessons has decreased. Actually, this is the comparison use of computer and digital tools before Korean training. Korean authority, especially the Daegu Metropolitan Office of Education, started their journey in Bangladesh in 2009. From 2009 to 2019, already 296 teachers received the training from them. And from CARIS or Institute of APEC Collaboration Education, they started their journey in 2018. From 2018 to till now, 60 teachers received training in online and medium and face-to-face medium. Actually, 100 institutions teachers already participated in Korean training program. After completing the training program, they conducted the in-house training program in their own schools. So most of teachers, actually all of the teachers of those schools are now equipped with ICT knowledge. I already mentioned that Institute of APEC Collaboration Education established 2 ICT integrated classrooms in Bangladesh in 2018, and 2018 to till now, in the 2 institutions already 600 classes have been held. This is ICT Integrated Classroom. Already I mentioned Institute of ABEC Collaboration Education constructed in the two ICT Integrated Classroom. One is at Mohammedpur Model School and College, and another one is Government Laboratory School and College, Dhaka, the capital city of Bangladesh. Actually, the ICT Integrated Classrooms are equipped with the state of the art of facilities. These are some pictures of these ICT Integrated Classrooms. These are the pictures of two ICT Integrated Classrooms. This slide's picture is taken from Government Mohammedpur Model School and College, Dhaka, and these are taken from Government Laboratory Schools, Dhaka. This is the positive impact of training by Institute of ABEC Collaboration Education. Actually, this slide is very important. After establishing the ICT Integrated Classrooms, teacher utilizes ICT in teaching and learning activities in the best possible way. Teacher can use effectively different tools of ICT Integrated Classrooms. Teacher gain expertise on preparing PPT and different multimedia content. Now, teachers are able to prepare or edit video with Kahoot. Teachers also able to prepare Google Forms, Google Slide, Jamboards, and know how to record the classes and so on. Actually, during the COVID period, this two smart classroom was the blessing for us. Actually, in the COVID period, we don't have the practical experiences, so we are in the great challenge how to conduct the teaching and learning process. That time, these two integrated classroom was the blessing for us. Actually, during the COVID period, smart classrooms enabling teachers to meet the unpredictable challenges of COVID-19. In Bangladesh, actually, all students don't have the smartphone, or in all corners we don't have the internet connectivity, and that's why online classes sometimes not fruitful. That's why Bangladesh government take decision to telecast the recorded classes. That time we don't have the recorded studio, so that time we have used this ICT integrated classroom as a recorded as a studio, and smart classrooms are used in recording classes, which was telecast by Sangsad TV. Sangsad TV is one of the national television in Bangladesh. Teacher also recorded their classes and upload in YouTube. Student also get the flavor of real class while teacher took online classes. These are some aesthetic activities done by the teachers trained from Korea. Actually, these 4 activities is done by the teachers who participated in Korean training program. First one is written in Bangla. Its English translation is my house. My school is in my house. Actually, during the COVID period, our teachers and students are unable to go out from their house. Teachers conducted their classes sitting in the house, and students also received their classes from their house. This classes is first time. This classes is conducted by a teacher who have participated in Korean training program. From left side to bottom, second one is Bagerhat Online School. Bagerhat Online School is conducted by a teacher named Lovely Mullik. She participated in Korean training program in 2018. During the COVID period, she conducted online schools named Bagerhat Online School. Actually, this online school was praised by all. And third one is Dhaka College online class. Dhaka College is one of the famous colleges in Bangladesh. Miss Tania Shaharin is one of the teacher of Dhaka College. She also received Korean training in 2017. Actually, during the COVID period, she conducted Dhaka College online classes. And last one is Muktopat. It's written in Bangla. Actually, it is the open learning platform. Teacher can easily upload and download the videos, content, pictures in these platforms. And anytime, actually, it is accessible for all, and it is very user friendly. And during the COVID period, this played a vital role for conducting the teaching and learning process. Actually, this is the reflection. I already meet a lot of teachers and students for the reflection of the ICT integrated classrooms. Here I have linked 2 interviews. One interview is taken from the students, and another one is a teacher. Let's see the interviews. First, the students' interviews. Sorry, it's taking time.
Hello from Bangladesh. I am Muhammad Islam, an English teacher of Government Mohammedpur Model School College. The whole atmosphere of my college has gone through a tremendous change because of the presence of these ICT-integrated smart classrooms. this classroom has made us able to make our classes very attractive. And we're able to hold the attention of the students when we give classes in this classroom. Even we can make the very, very complicated topics in a very easy way. You can present them and they can understand it in a very easy way. And we can use this different devices here. All the facilities over here, we can use it to make our classes very, very useful and fruitful. Even the science teachers and teachers of other arena, we can also demonstrate their complicated things in a very easy way. We can use the interactive board, we can use this laptops and the tabs and all the facilities that we have. We can make the best use of it. In fact, this classroom has been the center of attraction of our institution. And I would say that this has added a very, very special dimension to our institution. And if we have more classes like this, I think that we can keep pace with the modern world and we can impart education in the best possible way. So these sort of classrooms we need more and more. Hopefully that the authority concerned will think about it. And as an English teacher, I feel very, very confident when I give classes to my students being here. So thank you very much. I wish we have more classes like this. Thank you very much.
It's not working, so we can skip this one. So my next slide is on for making the global community. We need to form one platform where we can express our views and exchanges knowledge and innovative ideas. We can meet virtually from any corner of the world, where we can learn about update ICT education tools. Annual or half-yearly conference also helps to build strong bonds. This is my last slides. Actually, in future, what we have to do? We need an impact study of training provided by South Korea. We need to build a local community forum. We need to scale up the program all over the country. We have to engage more schools. Number of training should increase. International conference can be arranged. Korean embassy engagement should be more. Actually, thank you all. Thank you for your patience. Thank you all. If you have any question, then I will be able to answer you in the question answer session. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Hossein Kayas. For your information, we will share his presentation on the chat box. Thank you very much again, Dr. Baburam and Mr. Hossein Kayas for sharing us the insightful cases. Nepal and Bangladesh trainees and the staff who are monitoring this ICT classroom, they always inspired us and shared us the amazing achievement. Thank you again. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings us the very end of the session of session 2 with the title of Changes in the Educational Field Through the Utilization of the ICT Classroom. We will have 5 minutes break. Please get some fresh air and cup of coffee, and we will start session 3 on 6:40. Thank you. Thank you for coming back to our forum. In Korea, it's already heading 7 p.m. Also, if you have any question, please leave them on the QR code and the chat box. I will introduce session 3. In innovative ICT-integrated pilot classroom project, we are consist of the passionate teachers who are interested in ICT and education. For this session, the teachers from both Korea and Serbia will deliver the presentation about teacher community. Our first speaker is Mr. Jung Woo-young, the teacher from Tajong Elementary Primary School, and he is also the president of the Sejong Lead Teacher. He will deliver the presentation in Korean. So please use another devices to hear the simultaneous interpretation for YouTube English channel. He will introduce the roles and activities of Sejong Lead Teachers. Mr. Jung Woo-young, are you with us? Thank you. Please give warm welcome to Mr. Jung Woo-young.
네, 저는 세 번째 세션에서 한국 세종시의
Hello,
교육이랑
I am the presenter of the third session. I will be talking about the teachers' community's role and activities for the informatization of classroom.
제가 발표할 두 가지 주제에 대해서 사진을 보여드리고 간단히
I would like to
설명을
show some photos of the activities we have been conducting.
발표가 매끄럽지 못하더라도 많은 양해
Please
부탁드립니다.
forgive me if I am not an eloquent speaker.
먼저 세종의 미래 교육에 대해 말씀드리겠습니다.
First of all, I would like to talk about the future school in Sejong City.
최근 한국에서는 미래 교육이란 말을 많이
Recently, we
사용합니다.
often talk about the future education.
4차 산업혁명이 시작되었고
With the
시대가
fourth
급변하고
industrial
있습니다.
revolution, we see great changes coming.
이런 상황 속에서 예전에 사용하던 교육
Now, the
방식과
traditional
수업
education
내용들은
methods and
미래 사회를
content
준비하는 우리
may not
아이들에게
all be
적극 도전할 것입니다.
appropriate for our children.
그래서 교육
So,
방식과 교육 내용 중에서 작고 큰 변화를
The
일으키는 것이
future
미래
education
교육입니다.
is about making changes, big and small, in education methods and content.
한국의 미래 교육은 학생들의
Korea's
삶과
future
관련된
education
교육을
concerns the
이야기합니다.
life of children.
네. 한국의 일상 속에서 겪는 다양한 문제를 해결할 수 있는 능력을 길러주는 것이라고
It is
이야기합니다.
about improving their skills to solve a variety of problems that they face.
또한 놀이를 활용한 교육을 실시하고 있습니다.
Also, it is education through play.
학습할 내용이 방대한 우리
The future
아이들의 흥미를
education aims to
유형과
stimulate
이를 통해
children's
평생
interest
학습을
in
만들
learning
것입니다.
vast amount of content with a goal to making it lifelong education.
마지막으로 ICT 활용
Finally,
교육입니다.
it is education by using ICT,
컴퓨터, 인터넷을 활용한
meaning
수업을 하는
using
것입니다.
computers, internet, and so on.
먼저 ICT 활용 교육에 대해 말씀드리도록
Let me
하겠습니다.
first talk about ICT in classrooms.
예전에 학생들은 무엇인가를
For
발표할 때
Our
큰
children
종이에 발표
used
자료를
large
만들어
paper to
다른
make
친구들 앞에서
presentation on a theme
발표하였습니다.
in front of their peers.
종이에 글을 쓰는 것도
Of
장점을
course, writing
갖겠지만
on paper has its
세종시에는 약간
merits,
변화를
but
주고
we are
있습니다.
making a little change in that method in Sejong City,
바로 ICT 발표 자료를
which
만드는
means
것입니다.
we are using ICT to make presentation materials.
컴퓨터나 스마트 기기를 활용하여
Students
같은
use
팀의
computers
친구들과
or
함께
smart
발표 자료를
devices to make
만듭니다.
presentation materials with friends.
역할을 나누어 각자의
They
발표
divide
자료를
roles
만들고
and
이를
make their
합치는
own
과정에서
materials by
협업력을
themselves,
기르기도
and they
합니다.
compile into one. And in this process, they can improve collaboration.
다른 사람 앞에서 발표하는 기회를 많이
They are given
제공하고
more
다른 사람이
opportunities to
설득하는
make
능력을 기르기도
presentation for
합니다.
others and improve their persuasive skills.
오른쪽
The
사진은
photo in
세종시
the right
입학
side
사회
shows
발표
the
대회의
students'
모습입니다.
community engagement initiative contest.
학생들이 생각하고
It
학생들의
was a
눈에서 보라고
presentation
세종시의
contest to
문제를
help
해결하기 위한
students think
발표
and
대회입니다.
find a solution about problems of Sejong City from their perspective.
스스로 사진을
They shot
촬영하거나 정보를
photos
검색하고 활용하고
and
이를
search
위한
for
학습 교材
information
만듭니다.
and make presentation materials on their own.
그리고 세종시의 다른 학생들
After
앞에서
that,
발표를 하는
they
것입니다.
present their ideas in front of their peers in the city.
이 사진은 교실 수업에서 스마트 기기를
These
활용하는
photos
모습입니다.
show students using smart devices in classrooms.
스마트패드를 이용하여
They
자신의
use
성격과
smart
진로를
paths to
탐색하기도
explore
합니다.
their personality and their career path.
오른쪽의 사진은
The photo in the
스마트패드의
right side
타임랩스
shows
기능을
how they
이용하여
use
식물이
the
자라는
time-lapse
모습을
function of a
한눈에
smart
살펴보는
pad to
모습입니다.
observe the growth of a plant.
세종에서는
We try
스마트패드의
to
기기
teach
기능을
kids
활용하여
using
수업하고
basic
이를
functions of smart
일상생활에서도
pads
활용하는
and
능력을
improve their
길러주고자
skills
합니다.
to use smart pads in their daily life.
이 모습은 학생들이
These
스마트패드
photos
혹은
show
자신의
students
휴대폰을 활용하여
participate
수업
in
시간에
assessment
평가 활동에
activities in
참여하는
class by
모습입니다.
using a smart pad of their cell phone.
BYOD라는 말을 혹시
Have you ever
들어본 적이
heard about
있으십니까?
BYOD?
BYOD란 Bring Your Own
It is the
Device의
acronym
약자입니다.
of Bring Your Own Device.
세종시가 처음 생긴
Sejong
것은 10년
City
전입니다.
was created 10 years ago.
10년 전에
At
세종시는
that
모든
time,
아이들에게
the city
갤럭시
provided
패드를
a Galaxy
보급하였습니다.
Pad to every kid.
하지만 이는 관리의
But there
문제와
were
다른
management
문제점을
issues
가졌습니다.
and others.
아이들이 사용하는 기기와 다른 경우 효율이
When they
떨어지고
used a
있습니다.
different device from the Galaxy Pad, the efficiency declined.
그래서 자신의 스마트 기기가 있는 경우에는 자기의
So
스마트
we
기기를
let those
사용하도록 하고
children
있습니다.
use their own smart devices if they had one.
이 장면은 학생들이 스마트 기기, 노트북을 이용을 해서 무언가
This
작업을 하는 장면입니다.
shows how they use their laptops to perform a task.
한국에서는 미래 교육의 일환으로
As
로봇 등을
part of
활용한
future
소프트웨어 교육을
education, we use
활성화하고
robots
있습니다.
to promote software education.
소프트웨어 교육, 즉 프로그래밍 교육은 몇 년 전까지만
Software
하더라도
education,
수업에서는
meaning
하지 않았습니다.
programming education, was not covered in a regular curricula a few years ago.
하지만 4차 산업 활성화에 따라서
But
프로그래밍이라는
with the
코딩
promotion
교육이
of
필수가
Industry
되었습니다.
4.0, programming or coding education became mandatory.
다양한 로봇 교구를 활용한 수업과 학생 동아리
Various
활동을 하고
robots
있습니다.
and other manipulatives are being used in class and students' extracurriculum activities.
사람을 인식하는 인공지능을 활용한 교육 또한
Facial
진행하고
recognition
있습니다.
AIs are also used in class.
이 사진의 모습은 EV3라는 수업용 로봇을 활용한
These
동아리
photos
모습입니다.
show kids using EV3 robots for class.
빛에 반사된 정도로 측정하여 색을
They measure
구별하는
the
과학
degree of
원리를
light
적용을
reflection
했습니다.
to distinguish colors, an activity applying a scientific principle.
여기에 코딩을 하여 자율주행 자동차를
Then
만들게
they
됩니다.
make codes to make autonomous vehicle.
이처럼 로봇을 활용한 수업에서는 컴퓨터
Like
과학뿐만
this,
아니라
the robot
수학과
is
과학 등의
used
지식을
for
활용할 수 있습니다.
education not just in the domains of computer science, but mathematics and science.
이러한 미래 교육을 위해서
For the
세종시의
future
선생님들은 많은
education,
노력을
many
하고 있습니다.
teachers in Sejong City is making great efforts.
교사 연구회를 조직하여 첨단 기술을
They have
소개하고 이를
organized a
수업에
teachers'
활용할
research
방법을
group
연구합니다.
to introduce advanced technologies and study the methods of using those in classrooms.
또한 이렇게 알게 된 지식을 일반 시민들에게
They
안내하는
also
자리도
share
만들고
their
있습니다.
knowledge with citizens.
이 사진은 학부모님들에게
These
학생들의
photos
미래
show
교육이
teachers
바뀌는 모습을
showing
소개하는
parents
것입니다.
how education is changing for the future of their children.
미래 교육을 위한 선생님들의 노력으로 여러 가지 학생
One of the
참여형
efforts
대회를
for future
개최하고 있습니다.
education made by teachers is hosting a student participatory contest.
세종시에서는 해커톤 대회를
Sejong
개최하고
City
있습니다.
hosts a hackathon contest.
해커톤이란 해커와 마라톤의 합성어로
Hackathon is a term
프로그래밍에
combining
능숙한
hacker
학생,
and marathon.
디자인에 능숙한 학생,
Students with
발표에
programming
능숙한
skills,
학생 등이
design
모여
skills, presentation
주어진
skills
대회 문제를
gather
해결하기
together
위한
to
다양한
find a
아이디어를
solution to
만들고
a
이를
problem
발표해
given
보는
and then present their ideas in the contest.
두 번째 발표 주제인
Now,
리드 교사단의
I will
활동에 대해
talk about the second
말씀드리겠습니다.
topic of my presentation, the activities of lead teachers.
세종시에서는 2013년부터 미얀마와 교류하였습니다.
Sejong City have had educational exchanges with Myanmar since 2013.
2013년부터
From
2015년까지는
2013
미얀마의
to
양문이라는 도시에
2015,
컴퓨터실을
Sejong City
구축하였습니다.
built computer rooms in schools in Yangon.
이러한 인연을 통해서 2015년부터는 미얀마
Since
선생님들을
2015,
한국에
Sejong
초청하여
City has run
선생님들과
training
진행하였습니다.
programs for Burmese teachers by inviting them to Korea.
그때 만들어낸 영상인데 한번 같이
This is
시청해
the video
보겠습니다.
that I have made at the time. Please watch.
2019년에는 단순한 연수가 아니라 미얀마
In
선생님들을 상대로 한국
2019,
교육에
Sejong
대해서
City
알려드리는
provided them
공개
not
수업을
just
실시하기도
training
했습니다.
but an opportunity to attend open lesson to
9살의
show
아이들이
how
수업 시간에
Korean
어떻게
classes
스마트폰을
conducted.
활용하는지
They attended the
참관하시고
9-year-old
학생들과 함께
students'
미션을
class to see
해결하기도
how
하였습니다.
smart pads were used and solved a task given together.
뿐만 아니라
Not only that,
2016년부터는
from
세종의 선생님들이 직접
2016, the
미얀마를
teachers
방문하여
from
보다
Sejong
많은 미얀마
City visited
선생님들께
Myanmar and
ICT
helped
관련 교육
them
방법을
there
알려드렸습니다.
learn how to use ICT in class.
코로나19와 각종 문제들로 인해
But due
미얀마
to the
선생님들을
COVID-19
초청한
and many
연수와
other
한국
problems, the
선생님들의
training
방문 연수를
program for
못하게
teachers in
되었습니다.
Myanmar coming to Korea and by
하지만
dispatching
우리는
Korean
온라인을 통해
teachers
미얀마
there were
선생님들을 위한
suspended,
연수
but
영상을
we provided
제공하기도
video
하였습니다.
form of training for teachers in Myanmar.
2019년도부터는 세종과 세르비아의
Now, the
교류가
Sejong City
시작되었습니다.
started to have educational
첫 단계로
exchanges with
세종시의
Serbia
ICT
from
교실을 변형하여
2019.
새로운
The
세르비아
first step
모드로
was
세운
to
것입니다.
provide the ICT-integrated classroom.
여기에서 저희 세종
By
리드
modifying that
선생님들은
of Sejong
세르비아의
City,
ICT
lead
교실을 위해
teachers in
다양한
Sejong
컨셉
City
노트를
made various
작성하였고
concept notes
교실의
for
배치 및
Serbia's
기자재
smart
선정을
classrooms
하기도 하였습니다.
and arranged the class layout and selected devices.
저희가 디자인한 ICT
We had a
교실이
virtual
세르비아 선생님들이
meeting
어떻게
to see how
받아들이는지
teachers
화상회의를
in
통해
Serbia
알아보기도
received the
하였습니다.
smart classroom that we designed.
이렇게 필로로스카
This
외국어
way, we
고등학교와
have built
데스파
the
초등학교의
advanced
첨단 교실이
classrooms in
구조하였습니다.
Filoloska Foreign Language High School and Despot Primary School.
2021년에는 세르비아
In
선생님들의 연수를 위해
2021, we
노력하였습니다.
worked for training programs
세종
for
리드
Serbian
선생님들이
teachers.
아시아 국가와의 교류는 많았으나 유럽
Until
국가와의
then,
교류가
lead
없었습니다.
teachers in Sejong City
그렇기
had
때문에
frequent
유럽의
exchanges with
교육이나
Asian
세르비아
countries,
현지
but
상황에
not
대해
with
알지
European
못하였습니다.
countries.
이를
So we did
해결하기
not know
위해
about the
세르비아에
education
파견
conditions
가신
of
한국
Europe,
선생님과
including
공동
Serbia.
연수를
To
통해
deal with
세르비아
this
교육에
issue,
대해
we
알게
had a
되었습니다.
session online with Korean teachers dispatched to Serbia to learn about the education in Serbia.
이후에는 세르비아
Then we
선생님들을 위한
developed
다양한
a
연수
range of
프로그램을
training
개발하였습니다.
programs for Serbian teachers.
그리고 세르비아 선생님들에게
We
연수 프로그램을
introduced these
소개하고
programs
희망하는
to
것을
teachers in
선택하도록
Serbia and
하였습니다.
let them select ones they
그렇게
wanted.
최종 연수
So
프로그램을
we finalized the
선정하였습니다.
training program for Serbia.
그리고 4일에 걸쳐
The
데스파 초등학교
4-day
선생님들과
training was
필로로스카
conducted for
선생님들께
teachers in
연수를
Despot Primary
진행하였습니다.
School and Filoloska High School.
서로의 언어가 달라 소통하는 것이 어려웠고
There was a
온라인
language
연수라는
issue, so
걸림돌이
it was
있었지만
difficult to
세르비아
communicate with each
선생님들께서는
other,
적극적으로
and
참여해
also the format
주셨습니다.
itself, which was an online training, was an
세종 리드
obstacle.
선생님들이
Nevertheless,
제시한
Serbian
과제도 너무
teachers were
훌륭하게
actively
해결해
participating
주셨습니다.
in the course. They
저희
completed the
세종 리드
tasks given by
선생님들이 깜짝
Sejong lead
놀랐던 것
teachers.
같습니다.
We were amazed by Serbian teachers.
앞으로의 세종 리드
This is
선생님들의
the plan
계획입니다.
by Sejong lead
한국과
teachers.
세르비아 선생님들의
We will
지속적인 교류를
continue to
추진하고자
have
합니다.
exchanges with Serbian
또한 ICT
teachers.
관련 교육에 대한
We
고민을
will
지속적으로
continue
할
to research
예정입니다.
for the use of ICT in
마지막으로
education.
학생들의
Last but
밝은
not
미래를
least,
위해
we will
노력할
continue
것입니다.
to make efforts for the bright future of our students.
한국과 세르비아 선생님들의 교류
We
활동을
hope
통해
to
양국의
share
교육
merits
방법의
of advanced
장점을
education
공유했으면
of both
좋겠습니다.
countries, Korea and
단순한
Serbia,
기술적
through these
활용뿐만 아니라 수업
exchanges,
방법의
not
공유도
just the
의미가
simple
있을
use of
것입니다.
ICT, but the pedagogies
이를
as
통해
well.
교육 분야에서의
Hopefully,
국사
this will
외교단이
promote
활발해지기
teachers
바랍니다.
as diplomats in the education area.
ICT 관련 교육 방법에 대한
We
고민을
will
통해
keep
최신의
working on
기술을 교육에
developing
어떻게
methods of
투입할 것인지
using advanced
고민해보자 합니다.
technologies, including ICT
이러한
in
ICT 관련
education.
교육은
The
교사
ICT
중심의 교육이
using
아니라 학습자
education is
중심의
not
교육을
led
완성시킬
by
것입니다.
teachers, but it is to improve the
또한 리드 활동을
student-oriented
통해 ICT
education.
관련 교육에
Also,
익숙하지
lead
않은 후배
activities will
선생님들을
include
훈련시키는 일도
training
함께
of
할
junior
예정입니다.
teachers who are not familiar with using ICT.
무엇보다 중요한
Most of
아이들의
all,
미래를 위해 세계
we
시민으로서
aim
살아갈
to
수 있는
improve
능력을
the skills
길러주고자
of
합니다.
students to grow into a
세르비아와
citizen of the world.
한국을 넘어서 많은 국가의 선생님들이
If the
교류한다면
teachers in many countries,
학생들에게
including
긍정적
Serbia
영향을 줄
and
것입니다.
Korea, will work together, it will
이러한
bring
활동을 통해
positive impacts
궁극적으로
on
21세기
students.
학습자 영향을
Eventually,
강화시킬
it
수
will
있을
contribute
것입니다.
to improvement of competency of learners of the 21st century.
들어주셔서
Thank you
감사합니다.
for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Chong Woo-young. Following next, our second speaker is Mr. Zlako. He is an informatics and computer science teacher from Despot Stefan Lazarevic Primary School in Serbia. He will have his presentation titled Introduction of the Roles and Activities of Teacher Community in Serbia. Mr. Zlako, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here. First of all, I would like to say 연어후 모두에게 격려를 표합니다. After that, I would like to start with my presentation. Now, as you all see, our presentation is in content with introduction of roles and activities of our teacher and community of primary school, Despot Stefan Lazarevic. And I would first like to introduce you to our school. Our school is attended by 1,667 students of various national, intellectual, and social structures. It's divided into 59 classes, which are taught by 92 teachers. The school has over 120 employees. We have two cycles of school. The first cycle is primary education, is from the 1st to the 4th grade, and is conducted by primary school teachers. Where in the second cycle of primary education for students from 5th to 8th grade is conducted by teachers of specific subjects. We have a couple of councils inside our school. The Council of Class Teaching in Serbian language, it's Stručno veće, consists of all teachers who teach in the first cycle of education and upbringing. The Council of Subject Area consists of teachers who teach a group of related subjects. There are expert councils of Serbian language, foreign languages, as English and German language that are taught in our school, natural and social sciences, arts and skills, as well as mathematics and informatics. The goal of Expert Council is joint planning of teaching, harmonization, and assessment criteria, planning of written tests of knowledge. Each professional council has its own president of the council, who together with a team of coordinators, presidents of school assets in Serbian Stručni Aktiv, and professional associates make the pedagogical collegium. The pedagogical collegium takes care of ensuring and improving the quality of educational work of the institution, monitors the realization of school program, takes care of achieving the goals and standards of educational achievements, development of competences, evaluates the results of teachers, educators, and professional associates, and monitors and determines the students' results. All teachers actively participate in the creation of realization of the school program in accordance with their affinities and professional knowledge. Teams and councils serve as an active body in implementation and evaluation of following school documents. School program is adopted by school board for a period of 4 years and is written inside our educational rule. School development plan, strategic plan for the development of the institution with priorities of the priorities in the realization of educational work, which is adopted for a period of 3 to 5 years. The annual work plan of the school determines the time, manner, and barriers of activities planned for the realization of education and upbringing programs. Teams are formed by the principal. Team members deal with various issues and activities related to the different roles in the teaching and extracurricular process. Self-evaluation team of protection against discrimination, violence, abuse, and neglect. Team of inclusive education, team of quality assurance and institution development, team for the development of interdisciplinary competences and entrepreneurship, professional development team, other teams for accomplishing specific task, program, or project. The role of teacher are multiple. When it comes to students, a teacher is a lecturer, an organizer, and the one who manages the teaching process at our school. He's a partner in pedagogical communication, an expert in the field he teaches for work, and person who maintains student interests. He is the one who evaluates and grades, discover individual abilities, talents, and intellectual competences of students, and plans his work accordingly. Updating an electronic diary, keeping annual plans, monthly plans, and pedagogical documentation, creating digital teaching content, designing learning activities, assignments, workshop forums, transparent, formative, and summative assessment of student achievements, presentation of student projects, and communication are performed through ICT devices that are all in our classrooms that are equipped with. Improving the digital competence of our teacher throughout seminars, projects held by the Ministry of Education, Science and Technological Development or other organizations is one of the strategic goals of the development plan of our school. The project School for the 21st Century has set as its goal to development of digital problem-solving and critical thinking skills that students need for a successful career in continuous education. Teachers of our school were introduced to Microbit, the device in various subjects, the device that can be used in various subjects. The project is in line with the digitalization process being implemented in the Republic of Serbia. In addition to all previous projects, we would also like to mention the project From a Paper Airplane to a Drone, which introduces the programming and management of drone aircraft to teachers of engineering and technology, as well as teachers of information and technology. Using these devices, students are visually shown what programming look like and how to execute code step by step. Students from the 3rd to the 6th grade in the city of Belgrade have received tablet devices that they will use for access to additional digital textbooks, Google Classrooms, and Google Meet, which is crucial for online teaching and learning. Teachers who teach students from 3rd to 6th grade have received laptop devices that make teaching easier, enable easier sharing of digital content, task materials, as well as more efficient communication with students, parents, and other teachers. And that is all part of the digitalization of our school. Our school mission is meeting the developmental needs of students in accordance with the developmental needs of society and the highest educational standards. We also strive to develop our student work habits, build their critical thinking, and train them for a particular application of acquired knowledge in their future education. Our school mission is to nurture equity, the atmosphere of tolerance, constructive communication. We follow social needs and novel, scientific and technological achievements. We also like to create supportive environment, lifelong education, connection and intercorrelation with the world around us, cooperation, and ICT development. We also like to nurture safety. What is important to us? To us as a school and to us as teachers, it is important to have good atmosphere, healthy life, teamwork, internal motivation, creativity, and curiosity. And it is all backbone by functional knowledge. We would like to be an inspiring teacher. Our achievements: open area for learning and an equipped library, CCTV cameras and security guards of our school. Every classroom is equipped with ICT devices, such as a computer, projector, smart whiteboards. We have an AMRAS internet connection in the entire school. It is an internet connection that has speed up to 100 megabytes per second. School magazine Mudrica and school website. contemporary classroom for multimedia presentations and video screenings, IT cabinet with the latest generation computer and digital board and a video projector, 10 classrooms equipped with smart boards, renovated and modernly equipped ceremonial hall, modernized equipment for curricular and extracurricular activities. Again, our achievements: individualized teaching and learning approach, teamwork, good results during the external evaluation of our school worked by the Ministry of Education, the introduction of new teaching methods, quality planning of teaching process, cooperative teacher-student relationship, international dimensions of education, incentive work atmosphere in the classroom, professional training of teachers, relationship with cooperation with other schools, cooperative teacher-parent relationship, good results in competitions and final examination, quality monitoring of our students' achievements. Teaching methods and devices that we constantly use during our classes is projecting the theme via projectors. We have modern ICT devices in all of our classrooms. We like to be problem-solving oriented during our classes. We like to practically work with our kids, meaning teach and then try to do that in practice. Online education, sorry, research-based learning, experimenting. This is some of our kids that is working in a project called Nights of the Experimentalists. So our kids are trying to do these experiments with the cooperation of teachers, and this is an outer class activity. We would like to develop, we already do this. Grading in terms of advanced learning knowledge is important to us. Awareness about the importance of continuous learning, lifelong learning. We like to teach our kids that during their lifetime, they'll be constantly learning. Interest and desire of acquiring knowledge, research projects. And at the end of each subject class, we would like to give our kids some project that they're going to research all that has been learned in that class. Impact on local community. We like to organize local events, providing information, functional knowledge, use of knowledge in everyday life situations. Some of the projects that are held in our school is School Without Violence, that has a goal towards a safe and zestful environment for our children. Project with pupils from younger classes, Introduce Yourself. Project that will let kids express themselves in their own way. Healthier food, let's change our diet habits. School for the 21st century, as I already mentioned, using microbit programming tool. English and German language speaking competitions. Professional orientation and transition of secondary school. Strengthening the family. Let's start moving our children up. Tourist guide has been prepared. From a paper plane to a drone, we grow healthy. Some of the sections that are held inside our school is math section, recital, drama, traffic, art, ecological, creative workshops, library, journalist, core, sports, orchestra, geohistorical, robotics, and programming. Additional work with the talented student as well as those students in need of help with the curriculum. It is held in history, biology, German language, mathematics, Serbian language, physics, English language, chemistry, geography, IT. Our expectations are to continue the digitalization process of classes, working on new projects that will help build our school to a greater level, equipping the classroom with class contents, cooperation with schools from abroad, remodeling the school playground and courtyard. We are developing and nurturing communication culture, health culture, dress code culture, social skills, non-violent problem solving, trust and respect as a basis for community work and prosperity, critical thinking and problem solving. Regarding the new classroom, with a modern and ICT environment for all students and teachers will provide a variety of possibilities for classes of different subjects. Now, I will state that by the first period before we started building this classroom was used merely and only for computer and information technology. There was 2 classes held. There was 1 class each day for every class, so it was server-based. It has 30 computers that were connected by the device to only 4 computers that was connected to our server, main server, and you will see those pictures later. The teachers that went through the training are stating our methods are based on the fact that we use the ICT devices during classes. Since we have high-tech classroom now, it will be easier to show, create, and share materials with the students. In order to expand the knowledge, we will create a working group of teachers who passed the first and will participate in the second training. They will then pass the knowledge to their colleagues and continuously communicate with Sejong, lead teachers from Korea. The idea is to create a communicative environment with teachers from Korea and Serbia with the same goal, which is better teaching methods using ICT Classroom and digital tools. Furthermore, the mutual cooperation will lead to better material that will be used and presented for future generation, creating not only user, but strongly educated ICT students. The training we had has helped us growing in ICT world and making us aware of the possibilities that we can achieve with using the equipment that is available in ICT Classroom. Trainee was especially interested in some of the programs that we used in training, such as ebook and creating interactive projects for the purpose of better learning. During the interview, our trainees have had a chance to express their thoughts and ideas, how to use the ICT Classroom, and all the modules that have been presented to us with a plan for subjects that they are teaching. There will be some additional planning for the ICT Classroom to implement the subject to a usage of the classroom. The plan will include the subject teachers that are trained. After we gain more knowledge, we will expand the usage of the classroom to other subjects and teachers that has interest in using ICT during their subject. Our main goal is to learn and share the knowledge. This was our classroom before we start remodeling. As I already told you, we had 30 computers that were connected to 4 computers via server-based network. User interface was Shell and operation system was Windows, but it was an old Windows 7 and it was an old Shell user interface, so all of our computers were lagging and having problems trying to start up the user interface. As you can see, our stools where children were sitting was quite old and the material was ripped from the back by constant using. But now, our classroom looks like this. We have another part of this classroom that has been built for us. It is a teacher cabinet, teacher office. In that office, we have 3D printers and 3D scanners that can be used for technical and technology, a subject in our school. We have received 31 laptops for our children and 20 tablets that will be used and can be used for our teaching methods in information and computing science that I am a professor of. And I would like to state this quote: "The job of a teacher and educator at school is one of the most difficult and the most beautiful jobs. You've given me beauty, and that was my beginning. You, as my teacher, have given me words, pictures, and ideas of which I have built my life. And whatever I build, you have helped me to lay the foundations." I would like to thank both ministries of Korea and Serbia and all the people that were involved in building this classroom and improving the digital competence of our teachers. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Zulaco. Thank you again for both Mr. Chong Woo-young and Mr. Zulaco. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for taking time for this forum. We are currently heading to session 4. Please refresh yourself, and those of you who want to leave question, please scan the QR code or click the link on the YouTube channel chat box. Your questions will be delivered to the speakers. On session 4 panel discussion, we will have Professor Seo Soon-sik on the stage. He is a professor of computer education from Chuncheon National University of Education of Korea. He will be leading the following session as a moderator. For your information on session 4, if you're not the panelist, please turn off your camera for a moment and turn on when the session is over. Please refresh yourself for 10 minutes and we will see you on 7:33 from Korean Standard Time. Thank you. Thank you everyone for joining us. We are, for your information, while the 2020 Korea-Serbia International Forum for Education Information panel discussion will be broadcast on online and offline also. And due to the panel discussion preparation, we will have break until 7:38 in Korean Standard Time. Thank you for your understanding. Thank you.
Could I have your attention, please? My name is Dr. Sun Sik-seo, a professor at Chuncheon National University of Education, Korea. As I have been involved in this project for a long time as an education technology expert, I'm very happy to participate in this international forum. Today, I am the moderator of the panel discussion. Let me briefly introduce the 6 participants in this panel discussion. Next to me, Mr. Ko Young-hoon is here. He is the director of the e-learning division of Lifelong and Vocational Education Bureau, Ministry of Education, Korea. The other participants are participating in the remote places. They are Ms. Daniela, Dr. Babu Ram, Mr. Kayes Hussain, Mr. Jung Woo-young, and Mr. Jalako. Please forgive me for not pronouncing your precious name correctly. I'd like to welcome you all here today. Now, let's get down to business. Perhaps we can make a start. The aim of this panel discussion is sharing valuable experiences and ideas for the effective and successful ICT-integrated classroom project. This panel discussion is scheduled for only 20 minutes. Due to the time constraints and to give all the participants of this panel discussion a fair chance to speak, I will ask each participant a question in turn. The order in which you will respond to the question is the order you just introduced. Before we move on, I'd like to ask all of participants a favor. To prevent noise, please turn on the microphone function only when you speak. First, I would like to ask a question to Mr. Ko Young-hoon, the Director of E-Learning Division of Lifelong and Vocational Education Bureau, MOE Korea. As you are in charge of the ICT Integrated Classroom project, please introduce what you put the most emphasis on improving the effectiveness and success of the ICT classroom.
I think comprehensive consideration is needed for the success of the ICT Classroom project, such as partnership with partner countries, classroom design reflecting the needs of partner countries and Korean educational experience, and systematic training. In particular, among them, the voluntary community-based activities of lead teachers from both countries is important. This community improve the effectiveness of this project and continuously create the achievement, I think. I think Serbia's ICT classroom will help both countries develop sustainable education if teachers from both countries connect, learn, and share examples of the ICT-based education.
Thank you for your thoughtful answer. Also, we ask for your continued support. Second question is for Ms. Daniela. When analyzing the selfie every year, what were the biggest difficulties that Serbian teachers faced in the digital education sector? And in order to solve these obstacles, please introduce any policies you are pursuing at the level of Serbia's Ministry of Education.
First, to explain more, selfie is like taking selfie on the phone. It's for every school, selfie is different. So they get detailed results, what pupils think, teachers thinks, and what headmasters think. The biggest challenge is how to integrate findings into school development plan, into digital segment of school development plan. And what we are doing, we are launching these programs like Digital School Award. We have Digital Conference 2022 that gathers 6,000 teachers yearly. So we promote examples of good practice. And also we have trainings for middle level. Now we are developing trainings for middle level of digital competencies framework based on our framework. So for the middle level now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for providing good information. And the next question is for Dr. Babu Ram. Are there exit strategies established by the Nepal Ministry of Education to continue the effectiveness of the project after the project ended? What supports and efforts do you think are needed for the exit strategy? For example, such as continuous monitoring at the government level, changes in students' perceptions, changes in curricula in schools, etc. Please give your comments. I'm sorry, but I cannot hear you.
Thank you for the good question, dear professor. I don't think that Ministry of Education Korea stops completely this project at this point. We both countries have to collaborate longer to promote lifelong education through e-learning. There is no exit strategy yet to maintain the effectiveness of the project, but the government of Nepal will support it with a regular ICT supporting program for the public schools. Regular monitoring and continuous support from the government are necessary to sustain it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your answers. The next question is for Mr. Kayes Hussain. In order to improve the effectiveness of the project, what more elements should be added to the ICT-integrated classroom project, and what effects would be expected?
Okay, thank you, sir, for your nice question. Actually, above all, I think we need remote studio to develop the content because due to the COVID situation, remote education is now very much popular, and especially in Bangladesh, it is now very much popular because our school is closed till now. During COVID-19, we have to face a great challenges because there was a lack of content, and that could be used in the challenge changed educational environment, and there were no facilities to create the content. If a student is capable of developing remote education content, it is expected that the effectiveness of remote education will be greatly improved as the necessary content can be produced for this subject. Also, if the studio continues to develop content even after pandemic situation and use it with ICT Classroom, it is expected that the overall education effectiveness will be improved, such as increased utilization of the classroom and scoring various blended class spaces. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Honestly speaking, it wasn't clear enough for me to listen your comments, but it seems like to me that you emphasize on the importance of the develop of the kinds of the contents and along to the infrastructure for the development of the contents, right? Okay, thank you for your kind answer. And the next question is for Mr. Jung Woo-young. I heard that you conducted the first real-time training with Serbia last December. Please briefly introduce what you felt while training with Serbian teachers and tell us about the training or education exchange activities you want to do with Serbian teachers from now on.
The skill of the Serbian teacher is better than we thought. And we had a limit to the online training, but all the Serbian teachers actively participated. In the future, I would like to have a training program that Korean and Serbian teachers can enjoy together. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your thoughtful response. And the next question is for Mr. Jelakko. Please briefly introduce your future plan on ICT-integrated classroom utilization. For example, what kind of class activities plan do you have in mind?
In our ICT classroom, we had plans for the first period for informatics and computer science, and for technique and technology, since informatics and computer science is using computers and tablets to program the drones and robots, and technique and technology is using 3D printers to print models that children will draw on paper.
Okay, thank you for your answer. Now, so far, we have heard all the participants' opinions. Once again, I sincerely thank all of the participants. And we have some time, so if any participants wants to have some comments on this issue, then you freely, you can use your microphone and let us know about your idea. How about Mr. Ko Young-hoon?
I want to mention the importance of capacity building for teachers. When facing pandemic crisis, we could not help closing schools, but we could not stop education. So the Korean Ministry of Education decided to substitute the opening of physical school with online learning. But many Korean teachers are not accustomed to online teaching. So Korean government respond to the needs from schools and publish guidelines about online teaching and distribute these nationwide. Korean government also create a website so-called School On, where Korean teachers can share their knowledge about online teaching and share their digital contents, etc. This kind of effort is very important because the role of teacher in the success of education cannot be overstated. The same goes on this kind of online teaching. So I recommend capacity building for teacher is very important. So Serbian government may support this kind of effort. Thank you.
Thank you for your valuable comments. Any other participants who wants to add some ideas? Okay, when we talk about the educational change, it kind of reminds me of the phrases like everybody doesn't like change except infant because they have to change diapers. So it's not easy to embrace all the educational infrastructure or education innovations for the effective use of the education purposes. Anyhow, all the valuable ideas and advices and recommendations shared in this panel discussion will serve as a valuable foundation for the project to be successful in the future. I sincerely thank all of the audiences who have listened for a long time so far. Now, that's all for today's panel discussion. I wish all of you all the best in the new year and always be healthy. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Seo, for leading the panel discussion. Also, thank you, Mr. Ko Young-hoon, Ms. Daniela, Dr. Baburam, and Mr. Kayes, Mr. Chung Woo-young, and Mr. Zlako. We have had a representative from different fields regarding the education and information and communication technology. I would like to thank you again to the 6 panelists as well as a moderator for the excellent discussion. We've shared the insight under the theme of ICT-integrated information policies and discussed the educational cooperation plans to prepare the COVID-19 era. This was the last session for the Korea-Serbia International Forum on Education Development. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for joining us. Before we bring the end of this forum, we would have to have a special session for closing remarks and a group photo. So ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to invite Mr. Agana, Currently, she is the principal of the Philological High School. Ms. Dragana, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome her with a big round of applause.
Dear participants of Forum, members of Ministry of Education of the Republic of Korea and the Republic of Serbia, the IACE, dear colleagues and teachers of LEAD, on behalf of Philological High School and Elementary School Despot Stefan Lazarevic, I would like to thank you for the state-of-the-art ICT classrooms you gave us. These classrooms have created an amazing opportunity for us to improve the digital competencies of our teachers and modernize the methods of teaching. We are witnessing the crisis caused by the pandemic, but all these challenges open the door for new beginnings and re-examination of the previous knowledge at school and in life. Every crisis creates the possibility for new beginnings. The new ICT classrooms will be used by the students in different classes, will improve creativity and knowledge that is of cultural and social significance, the development of project-based learning and peer learning. This spring, Philological High School will organize a week of project-based classes in the new classroom. With reversed roles, students will become teachers. Also, a translation competition is planned for students from philological classes in this classroom. In the hope that COVID-19 will no longer interfere with our learning in the future, I will end with the following message. In the 21st century, the illiterate will not be those who do not know how to write and read, but those who do not know how to learn. I will also quote Isaac Newton. What we know is a drop, and what we don't know is an ocean. Thank you for all.
Thank you, Ms. Dragana, for your meaningful words. Ladies and gentlemen, we are heading to the very last session. Before we end the forum, let us take the group photo. For those of you joining through the Zoom, please turn on your camera. We will take total 3 times. So first pose is smiles. So please show your big smile. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. The second pose is fighting. So put your left arm to your face. And let's say fighting. 1, 2, 3. And the very last pose is a small heart. Maybe all you may know. So let's put small heart. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings the end of the 3 hours of journey, the Korea-Serbia International Forum on Educational Development. Thank you once again for those of you participating home and abroad, offline and online. I hope that these insights and ideas we've shared today will contribute to the betterment of the future education. Hopefully next year, we'll be able to overcome the pandemic so that we would be able to visit Serbia and other partner countries. This has been Jinju Lee, your MC, and thank you all of our participants and distinguished guests for joining us. Thank you.